Welcome to Intellectual Hill. Get ready to embark on a journey of intellectual growth and meaningful conversations. So, without further ado, let's dive right into today's thought-provoking exploration. In this video, we will take a look at some of the life-changing and inspirational quotes of the great physicist Albert Einstein. Let's dive in. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Logic will get you from A to B, imagination will take you everywhere. We still do not know 1,000% of what nature has revealed to us. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Imagination is everything, it is the preview of life's coming attractions. Nationalism is an infantile disease, it is the measles of mankind. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives, and not in what he is able to receive. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead, his eyes are closed. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. The only source of knowledge is experience. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Imagination is more important than knowledge. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. Never do anything against conscience even if the state demands it. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. The only real valuable thing is intuition. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. The environment is everything that isn't me. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there is no risk of accident for someone who's dead. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. Information is not knowledge. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. We should take care not to make the intellect our goal, It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong, it is character. I am not only a pacifist but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. Force always attracts men of low morality. The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity. In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must above all be a sheep oneself. True art is characterized by an irresistible urge in the creative artist. Never lose a holy curiosity. I love to travel, but hate to arrive. There is no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive. Nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced. It gives me great pleasure indeed to see the stubbornness of an incorrigible nonconformist warmly acclaimed. The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem, it has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. The man of science is a poor philosopher. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. Confusion of goals and perfection of means seems, in my opinion, to characterize our age. Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes and I may try to express it in words afterwards. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. The faster you go, the shorter you are. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. The road to perdition has ever been accompanied by lip service to an ideal. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. I do not believe that civilization will be wiped out in a war fought with the atomic bomb. Perhaps 2/3 of the people of the earth will be killed. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion. One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Isn't it strange that I, who have written only unpopular books, should be such a popular fellow? It stands to the everlasting credit of science that by acting on the human mind, It has overcome man's insecurity before himself and before nature. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. The grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms. Too many of us look upon Americans as dollar chasers. This is a cruel libel, even if it is reiterated thoughtlessly by the Americans themselves. All these primary impulses, not easily described in words, are the springs of man's actions. The attempt to combine wisdom and power has only rarely been successful, and then only for a short while. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. There could be no fairer destiny for any physical theory than that it should point the way to a more comprehensive theory, in which it lives on as a limiting case. Occurrences in this domain are beyond the reach of exact prediction because of the variety of factors in operation, not because of any lack of order in nature. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to Intellectual Hill for more enriching content. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, stay curious and keep climbing the intellectual hill.